Jesus came in the form of a man. God's Son was sent, made small, low, and humble. He took on flesh, a limited human body, and walked the earth among us. With a mother and father, he grew up. He learned his trades. He worked. And when God's voice directed, he went out to make fishers of men. It was the will of the Lord to be misunderstood and oppressed. Without a particular beauty, he carried himself. But the life of God consumed him. In his eyes you could see, by his actions you knew. When Jesus arrived, so did the kingdom. He emptied himself and obeyed the Father's voice. He brought life in the midst of death, loved those who despised him, did the opposite of the expected. And for many, he was the smell, deliverer, and embodiment of life. And when his life led to the cross, he again obeyed. Bloodied and beaten, it was the Lord's will to crush him, and in doing so, we were set free. He poured out his life, was torn, pierced, and beaten, so that every one of us would know the victorious news of God on the day of his resurrection. And the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is now alive in us. As he walked, we are called to go. Jesus entered our neighborhoods. He pitched his tent among ours. He came close to us to show us how to live close to the Father. We share the call that Jesus has, a life poured out, not our own, a life dependent on the voice of the Lord. When we knock on doors in the neighborhoods down the street, the same light in Jesus' eyes works its way through us. When we turn outward as churches and take seriously the call to love those who surround us, we bring his life into dark, desperate places. It is the design of God that we would live as Jesus did. The way Jesus came is the manual for our lives. Without show, he entered our life, so that the love of God would be accessible and known. In the same way, we go, so that the love, mercy, and power of God would be embodied in every home, every business, every church, school, and neighborhood across our cities and nations.